Dalano Banton has come into Portland and had some very impressive moments, and he looks like he could be one of the steals of the 2024 trade deadline. All the Blazers gave up for him was a top 55 protected second round pick, so basically nothing. And you don't want to miss this video because I'm going to talk about why Dalano Banton gives Portland something it hasn't had in years, which could make him a key part of the rotation next season. But first, let's thank our video sponsor, BetUS. America's favorite sportsbook is BetUS, featuring live betting and racebook. They're celebrating their 30th year anniversary with a historic offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. You can get started today by using my sign-up link in the description box below, and promo code JOIN125 to activate those first 3 deposit bonuses. And with March Madness right around the corner, let's look at BetUS's lines for the next NCAA tournament winner. The favorite right now is UConn at plus 500, and honestly, that's pretty good odds if you get in on it with a 125% deposit bonus, because that essentially makes it plus 1100, which is phenomenal lines for a team that has looked dominant this year. They won it last year, I think they can do it again. Kentucky has a lot of talent and has really good guard play. I always look for that. Plus 2200 with a 125% bonus could be a phenomenal line for you to cash in big. Marquette has looked like one of the best teams in the country once again this year. Plus 2500 for them, I think, is a steal. And with all these lines, you can bump it up with that 125% deposit bonus that BetUS is giving you 3 of. So take advantage of it. Sign up with my link in the description box below and use promo code JOIN125. And let's jump back into the video. In Portland, Dalano Banton is averaging 23 minutes a game with a whopping 14 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. His efficiency isn't great. He's shooting 46% from 2, but he is shooting an impressive 37% from 3, and his shooting was a big question mark coming into Portland. He's a career 29% three-point shooter, so that 37% is a vast improvement. True shooting percentage for him is still 52.5%, which is below average. Per 36 minutes, he's averaging 22.7 rebounds and 4 assists for the Blazers, which is phenomenal. He just has to finish better from 2 and also shoot better from the free throw line, as he's only shooting 66% from there. But the flashes are tantalizing. He's 6'9", he can handle the ball, can change pace a little bit. He's not going to impress you with blazing speed by any means, but he can still get to his spots because of the way he can handle the ball and move with his live dribble. Coupled with good enough playmaking chops to run the offense at times, and you have yourself a 6'9" point guard, which is a type of player that is still pretty rare across the league, even though bigger players are getting more and more skilled. As far as Banton goes, I think he needs to pick his spots when he drives a little bit better. He had a career-high 30 points against the Houston Rockets on March 8th, but that saw him go 10 for 27, and he was 8 for 24 before the 4th quarter. That game was interesting because it saw him knock down 3 threes in a row and then shoot a 4th as a heat check that he definitely deserved. And in the last 2 games, he is 9 for 18 from 3, which is 50%. He also had a recent 3 for 5 game from 3 against the Memphis Grizzlies, in which he had 19 points on 8 for 15 from the field in 20 minutes, which was a very impressive game. And in his best games, Dalano Banton looks like a bona fide NBA starting caliber player. But sprinkled amongst these games, you have performances of 7 for 20 against Minnesota, 5 for 13 against OKC, 5 for 14 against New Orleans, and efficiency truly is the key with a guy like this. In that 10 for 27 game against Houston, Banton had far too many drives where he kind of just put his head down, bowled into traffic, and flipped something up at the rim that had no hope of going in. I think he was a little bit more patient in the most recent game against the Raptors, which saw him score 25 points, and it's part of why he had an efficient night, going 9 for 16 from the field. Basically, Dalano Banton should not be hijacking an offense. When he's played in the flow and off of other teammates, he's actually looked better than I expected him to. Part of that is him hitting threes, and when he's hitting threes, the defense respects it more, runs harder at him at the 3-point line, which makes it easier for him to attack a closeout and drive, and then his size and playmaking skills come alive, and the finishes are a bit easier than if he's just trying to drive straight at his defender who's set in front of him. And his combination of size and skills gives the Blazers a level of lineup versatility that they haven't had in many, many years. We know the Blazers is the team that runs out 6'3" guards and tried to make 3 6'3" guards work with starting Norman Powell at the 3 next to CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard in the past. They've been very, very small, and they haven't been able to put out different types of lineups all too much because they just didn't have the personnel for it. But with Dalano Banton, the Blazers Blazers have had lineups where every player is 6'8" or taller because they're able to run Dalano Banton at the point guard spot and he can handle that responsibility. They can also maximize ball handling in their lineup by playing Banton at a small forward or power forward spot, which they can get away with because he's 6'9". In the past, the Blazers haven't really had a ball handling playmaker that they can play at the small forward or power forward position that has a level of size where they're not going to get completely destroyed on the defensive end. And I fully expect Banton to be back and maybe even in the rotation next year given how he's been playing, and it gives Chauncey Billups a lot of options. I think lineups with Banton at the point guard spot have been pretty decent defensively. I don't know what the stats are on that. I could be completely making that up, but from what I've seen, when Banton's able to play the point guard spot with a bunch of other players that are 6'8", 6'9", it creates a switchable lineup that makes it easier for Blazers to switch things. And Blazers switch screens at the second highest rate in the league. When you're switching a 6'9" guy and a 6'3" guy on a pick and roll, and all of a sudden the 6'3" guard is having to guard somebody that's 6 inches taller than him, it creates mismatches. But when you're switching two 6'9" guys, you don't have that size mismatch on the interior, and it's not as much of a problem. I believe that's a big reason why these big lineups that the Blazers have experimented with at times with Dalano Banton playing the point guard spot have been very solid defensively. Offensively, it's another story. There's been multiple stretches where they just can't hit a shot, they can't make a three, and they're just not efficient enough. That's why efficiency for a guy like Dalano Banton truly matters, and that's also why he needs to do a little better job picking his spots. But in these lineups, he hasn't had a ton of talent around him, so I understand him taking it a little bit more upon himself to try and make things happen. And in the future, hopefully the Blazers are able to A, stay healthy, and B, put more talent on the court, and C, develop the young talent that they already have. Anyway, let me know what you think of Banton's recent performances in the comment section below, and check out the description box for everything BetUS. Make sure you take advantage of their 3 deposit bonuses. With that being said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!